Howdy folks, and welcome back to another school year. I just want to start out by giving a really neat tech tip from an update in Google Gemini that we all have access to now, and it's storybooks. So you've seen me do a couple videos on storybooks before. It was a pretty involved process of like generating the text and then all the individual images and trying to maintain consistency. And like, yes, it's amazing that we're able to do it with AI, but then Google has just blown this whole thing wide open with a really exciting gem that they created. Gems are little pre-made AI tools that use Google Gemini, but they're trained in a certain way to get certain product. You can make your own gems. So you want to make like an email answerer and like you uploaded kind of examples of how you respond to things. You could train the AI to kind of sound more like you. But this is a storybook creator, and it blows me away. It's really great for social stories. Let's explore it, and we'll look at maybe it can do a bit of a curricular story as well. All right, so we've logged into Google Gemini, and if you click on the side where all your chats are, you can see under gems, there's storybook. So they have other gems like a chess camp, brainstormer, career guide. So you can explore different gems that have been created, but we're going to look at storybook. The other thing you can do is just type in, I want to write a storybook. So boom, it kicks us into that gem, the storybook gem. So now let's create a story. So maybe we have a student who has a hard time keeping his finger out of his nose. So once again, we're not going to put any like student names or information in there, but we can create a life lesson storybook for him. I'll use my name just for fun. So I say, I have a student named Ben Drew that can't stop picking his nose and wiping it on the desk. I need a storybook of the dangers of this activity and the disrespect to custodians and other students. And then you can actually choose a style. So I want to do it in anime. So I hit enter, and I'm actually going to let this run in real time to show you how fast it is. I'll try to keep talking, but like it's impressively quick. That's the big thing. So where it took me an hour to make a storybook before, it's already made the first draft. Now it's creating the illustrations. Gemini's gotten really good at fast image generation, and it takes under a minute to generate a 10-page storybook full of pictures. That's really exciting. So you can be responsive with this. Like something happens, you can whip up a story in under a minute. And there it is. So that's how quick you can make a full storybook. So here we are. We're going to go full screen with it. And here's our storybook, Alden's Clean Desk Promise. Now, a really cool thing is it's like an animated book. So you click it and it flips the pages, but you can also listen to it. So maybe you have a student that doesn't read so well.
Alden's Clean Desk Promise. Alden loved school, especially art class. But sometimes, when he was thinking really hard, his finger would wander up to his nose. And sometimes, without even thinking, he'd wipe his finger on the underside of his desk. It was a secret, he thought. No one would ever know. But secrets like that don't stay secret for long. One day, his friend Lyra saw him. She looked a little surprised, and then a little sad. Later that day, Ms. Elora, their kind teacher, called Alden aside. Alden, she said gently, I noticed something today. Do you know why it's important to keep our desks clean? Alden mumbled. Because of germs? Ms. Elora nodded. Exactly. Our hands can carry tiny germs, and when we touch things, those germs can spread. They can make us, or our friends, feel unwell. And it's not just about germs, Ms. Elora continued. Think about Mr. Silas, our wonderful custodian. He works so hard to make our school a clean and safe place for everyone.
So there we have a quick storybook. As we flip through, if you click in the corners, you can turn the pages. You can see that the characters stay the same. The same clothing, the same face, same green backpack, the white stripes. One thing I noticed, and maybe it's part of the bias, but the only person of African descent was the custodian. But yeah, really impressive stuff. So like, it's always the same. Now, you might see some little artifacts. Like there's just this weird box up here of like him standing, and maybe he was supposed to be showing something. But it does a really good job. Let's do another story. So that was like a social story. I haven't explored it too much for its curricular based stories, so this should be really interesting. I want a storybook for 13-year-olds about the stages of mitosis. Give the dividing cells faces, please. Let's see what it does with that. All right, now we have Sella's Big Day. It's slightly terrifying looking, but we'll see. The other thing you can do is you can change the voice. So maybe I didn't like that voice. There's a lower pitch voice we can check out. So let's check out this book.
Sella was a happy, healthy cell, living her best life in a busy tissue. Most days were spent growing, eating, and making sure everything inside her was just right. She loved her nucleus, a cozy little room where all her important instructions, called chromosomes, were kept safe. As Sella finished copying, she felt a new energy. Time to get organized, she declared. Her duplicated chromosomes began to coil up tightly, becoming short and thick, like little X-shaped packages. Her nucleus, which had been her safe haven, started to gently fade away, preparing for the big show.
So the illustrations are definitely abstract. I mean, you have centrioles here and fibers, but the faces, in hindsight, terrible idea. That's kind of nightmare fuel. So I was wondering how it would do with kind of images of cells. So yeah, like none of it's taking place inside the cell, but it's showing some things. But the information is really good. Just the images are a little awful. Yeah, I don't know what these images are, but oh my gosh, they're terrifying. And that's kind of more what I was expecting in the end. But the information was pretty good. And then some of the images kind of worked out. So maybe the nice thing is it happened so quick, I could generate another one very quickly. But let's do one more. So I have create a story about a student traveling back in time to 1867 and the Confederation of Canada. She is experiencing all that went into setting up a new country. Do it in the style of Peanuts cartoon. All right, Maple's Confederation. History class was always so historical, sighed Maple, resting her chin on her hand. Dates, names, treaties, it all felt so far away, like a story someone else lived long time ago. Suddenly, the classroom seemed to shimmer. The scent of old paper turned into wood smoke and the fresh earth. When Maple opened her eyes, the blackboard was gone, replaced by a dusty, bustling street. Good grief. There's the Peanuts. She whispered, "This isn't my classroom anymore." So, first issue, her hair turns white. But everything else is good so far. The air was filled with the sounds of clip-clop horses and chatter of unfamiliar voices and the distant clang of a blacksmith. Everyone wore strange clothes, no cars, no phones, just a lot of hats. This must be 1867, Maple mused, remembering her lesson. I was missing some of the words. Then you have, she saw two stern-looking gentlemen in hats talking animatedly. The details of the British North America Act are quite complex, wouldn't you agree, sir? One said. Indeed, and the division of the powers a delicate balance for our new nation. Maple sighed. It still sounds complicated, even in person. A boy about her age was kicking a small stone down the street. Maple gathered her courage. "Excuse me," she said. "What exactly is Confederation everyone's talking about?" The boy stopped, surprised. The boy, whose name was Arthur, scuffed his shoe. "Well," he explained, "it's like when all the big kids on the playground decide to play together instead of in separate corners. They make up new rules so everyone can share in toys and have a bigger game. Except it's for provinces, not kids." I like that we didn't have the maple leaf yet. Maple watched as people began to hang banners and flags. Red and white fabric adorned buildings. Children ran through the streets laughing and carrying small handmade flags. There was a buzz of excitement in the air, like before a big party. So this one's definitely having a harder time with the art style. It's kind of hopping around a bit more, but it's still pretty good. On July 1st, 1867, the whole town seemed to burst with joy. Bells rang, cannon fired, and people cheered. "It's Canada!" Arthur shouted, waving his flag. A new country altogether. Maple felt a warmth spreading through her. Good grief, she thought. History is quite something after all. Obviously, some issues with the hair. Also, slightly different style. So maybe don't, use Peanuts, because that might kind of confuse it. Like, it has some general styles that it's probably better at. One last thing to note, you can actually turn these into PDFs. So if you go to print, you can print them out, or you can Instead of like going to a printer, you can put them into a PDF first. One thing you'll see is that it doesn't work. It says pop-up blocked. So you have to allow pop-ups. So we have this pop-up, and then you can save it as a PDF, or if you're connected to the printer, you can print it there as well. It prints off like this. And weirdly enough, it skipped a picture. I'm not going to save this one, but you can save it if you find a book that you really like. So go on, check it out. I don't know how the limits are on like how many books you can create a day, but go test it out and find out for yourself. Anyway, really cool. Get on there and explore, and I'll catch you in the next one.